There is no shortage of expectations for women to meet beauty standards, and those beauty standards have existed for a long time, but they have been so exacerbated by the rise and popularity of short form content. We are now able to see so many more people than we were ever meant to have access to. Our little brains have not evolved to process the amount of information and people that we see on a daily basis on our little phones. And if you really think about it, we weren't even really meant to see ourselves as often as we do, because our little brains, for most of human existence, would only see ourselves in the reflection of like a pond. And obviously we see ourselves a few times an hour between devices and mirrors everywhere. So I figure there's no shortage of those standards being set, and there is no shortage of people making content trying to convince you that they are meeting those standards and that you just need to buy these many things to also meet those standards. So I figured, what if I make a video about the things that I don't do that I think you shouldn't buy into, because just to do my little part on my little corner of the internet to combat the giant message of all the things that you need to buy. Hence this video. We are now having to invent insecurities to convince people that they need to buy stuff in the name of literally killing the planet just so that more rich people can become more rich. It is infuriating, obviously. If you didn't already know, my stated mission of this channel is to convince people to give up consumerism for community and creativity. And this video is going to be about exiting from the consumerism part of it, okay? And if you didn't already know that, you might be new here, so you might want to hit the subscribe button. So I want to start with the things that I haven't been doing for years, because I have been working really hard to remove like the things that matter to me from the things that I'm expected to do within society. And that in general is like really hard to do. Madison and I were actually having this conversation the other day about how do you know if the things that you want for yourself are things that like are innate to you, or things that you have been like propagandized, or you've just seen so much, you've had so much exposure to them that they feel like the things that you want. But these first two things are the things that I have been doing for years, that I have actively, successfully separated the things that I care about from the things that people tell me I'm supposed to do. I don't shave every day. And who and when and more importantly, why did we decide that hairless equals hygiene and that hairless is the best way to be? If you really think about the norms and the standards of people who are actively, naturally hairless in our society, it's not women, it's girls. It makes me really uncomfortable, and honestly, it has for a long time. I wouldn't say I stopped shaving for some external feminist reason. I stopped shaving because in college it was expensive. Buying razors is so expensive, and I just never got back into it because I'm the type of person that when people are judging me about something that really makes no sense, like people outwardly commenting on my armpit hair or my leg hair, and they just are saying it like with so much confidence that they know what the right way to do something is, and that's just what you're supposed to do. I hate that mentality. When you're putting those standards onto me for reasons that you haven't even reckoned with, nah. It's kind of weird that people do things without really thinking about why they're doing it and why that expectation was ever placed on them. And not everybody is like me, and your daily routines do not have to revolve around changing society structure, and plenty of people shave because they like how it feels, and you know what, I totally get that. But I think questioning why we do it and why it's expected and why it's seen as like unhygienic not to is a conversation we should have. I don't use conditioner on my hair. I'll do a hair mask every now and then, but this habit also started out of, me being cheap in college. And every time I talk about how I don't use conditioner, people try to convince me that I do need it, but every single time I have gone to get my hair done over the last decade, I haven't used conditioner for over a decade, they always say how my hair is so healthy. So I very well could be an anecdote. I could just be one person who has a certain hair type that doesn't need conditioner, but it's something that I second guess. Like, the point is, we're convinced that we need to do all these things, and then we're also sold on social media that there are so many more things we could do to optimize our appearance. And I think it's time we rethink the things that we're doing and why we're doing them in the first place. And I don't touch makeup wipes, okay? I think the conversation around makeup wipes has started, and people are starting to understand that they are just bad for your skin. For me, they make me red, like red and irritated. My skin immediately is red and irritated. Not to mention they're incredibly wasteful and expensive. So makeup wipes are a no-go for me. Personally, I like to double cleanse. I also do use the magic eraser, I think is what it's called. The one I have is from Grove. I can link it below if you're interested. But I just think that makeup wipes are something that should be left in like the early 2000s, and we should never touch them again because they're just bad all around for the planet, for your skin, for your wallet. It's just a no. Just don't do it. Those are some things that I feel like people have tried to convince me that I need, and I hate the word need when it comes to consumer products because most of them are not needs at all. And so when we talk about things that we actually need in our routine, there are very few things that meet those standards, but deodorant Deodorant, I think, is a need. I have said this before. I don't think to be an environmentalist, you need to be stinky, because a lot of the deodorants out there get the reputation that if you are doing something good for the planet, it's going to make you stink. Like, I've seen so many memes about this, but I have to tell you that wild deodorant is one of the only deodorants out there that I promise you're not gonna have that experience with. If I'm gonna put something in my routine on a repeated basis, I'm gonna look for it to have sustainable packaging, which a refillable deodorant meets those standards, obviously. And we want the ingredients to also be sustainable. So Wild is formulated without any aluminum salts, no parabens, which checks all of my essential boxes. And then there's also the bonus box of the fact that they give back. Every purchase supports reforestation efforts, which I think is beautiful. And 24-hour protection with their creamy, nourishing formula. This is my personal favorite case. It is my forever case. It has my name engraved on it. She's stunning. She's beautiful. We love her. But Wild also does really cute limited edition cases, and this one is Paddington. And when you're ready to refill your case, you just pop it out, take your refill pod, which, because it's Paddington, is orange marmalade. So when something in my routine can be sustainable, work really well, be cute and fun, and you can get a discount on it by using Shelby 2025 to get 20% off, I feel it's a no-brainer. You can click the link in my bio to check out their limited edition cases, but like I said, my favorite is my forever case. Okay, this is my ride or die. Now, I feel there are so many products out there that could fit into these next few categories I'm gonna give you, and I would love for you to let me know in the comments things that you have seen on the internet that fit into these categories, because I couldn't go through every individual product. We would be here all day long. But instead, I want to split it up into some categories, right? So the first category is pointless upgrades to basics, right? We just talked about a basic, an essential, a need part of your routine, but there are people out there who take that and then just overcomplicate it. For what reason? I don't know. Examples of this are like razor blade subscriptions with like a bajillion blades in them, when like the razors that already exist are doing what they're supposed to do. Designer body mist. Okay, I don't feel that perfume is like a necessary part of a routine, but we don't just have perfume anymore, okay? The scents are so layered that it is mind-boggling, because you have scents in your body soap, body scrub, body oil, body lotion, body serum. There's a body mist, there's a perfume, there's hair perfumes now. Why can't it just be a perfume? Like, isn't it already doing the thing? And also, I just can't relate to someone who wants to smell that much, who wants that many layers of scent. I personally can't stand the thought of it. So the type of person who wants that is a mystery to me. But you see what I mean? We took perfume and then we turned it into like 20 different products. Or like body lotion for your legs. Okay, again, moisturizing and essential, pretty normal. Why are we putting hyaluronic acid in our lotions? Why are we creating serums for our legs? That level of beauty standard is so unnecessary and disturbing to me. I cannot understand it. So I'm curious what pointless upgrades to basics, essentials, needs you have seen that fit into this category. Another line of attack is the 10 products that do the same thing. I was talking about how there's scent in every single product, you know, and like you're building the scent over like 10 products in your routine. But I have also seen like shower oils, and then there will be like post-shower oils, and then shower lotions, and then out of shower lotions. And I've also seen people like not understand that your SPF is also your moisturizer. Like, people will put on like a hydrating balm, and then they'll put on a moisturizer, and then they'll put on SPF, and it's like, those are all doing the same thing. But it's also people who want hydration in like every step of their routine, and people who want brightening in every step of their routine. When did they decide that those were things that they even needed to do to their face? I feel that the internet has started to hype up the aesthetic of having hydrated, bright face. And isn't that interesting that like the way your skin looks can be a trend? And then people are looking for that hydration to get that look in every single product that they buy. So then they're buying 10 products that essentially are doing the same thing. And I feel like if someone doesn't bring that to your attention, it's really easy to get caught up in the cycle of buying those things, of feeling that way. And so this is just my PSA, okay? You don't need to buy 10 products in your routine that all do the same thing. Next up, we have solutions to problems that don't exist. I cannot stand a product that sells you on the idea that something that your body is already doing is wrong. A lot of those things are inventing insecurities for us, and I think that's disturbing. One of those things being feminine wash for your parts that are already self-cleaning. And honestly, I think there's a lot to say about how products like that are worse for you than if you weren't using them. And I'm not someone that's like super crunchy and like all natural and those sort of things. Okay, I have a science degree. I understand that some things like are good, even if they are not natural. But that type of product, the feminine washes, I think that it's safe to say like they're not good for us. toner for your armpits. I don't know how many people have ever thought about what their armpits looked like until someone tried to sell them that their armpits looking a certain way was a bad way for your armpits to look. And now there are products out there that are literally sold to change the tone, the color, the smoothness of your armpits. We're now creating a product to fix a problem that A, you never thought about before, and B, is rarely seen. This is what we're destroying the planet for. We are literally destroying the planet to extract resources from the planet and then heat them up and ship them all over the world to create a product to sell to you just to keep our economy always growing. We are now having to invent insecurities to convince people that they need to buy stuff in the name of literally killing the planet just so that more rich people can become more rich. It is infuriating, obviously. This is also things like butt masks. How many people out there need something like that? I have been out of the dating game for a long time. So like, if you have a big insecurity about the behind of your body that you like literally never see and only other people are really seeing, that's your business. But I do feel like there needs to be as much media and marketing about embracing a natural, normal body than there is creating, again, insecurities to sell you a solution for. I feel that a lot of these things that we're considering nitpicking every little bit of our bodies is only beneficial to the people who make money off of us feeling insecure about something that is normal. Just embrace those things as opposed to always looking for a solution that you can buy to fix it. Because butt masks, what are we doing? What is happening? Then we have the single-use gimmicks of it all. It's single-use face towels. People on the internet I have seen swear that like using single-use face towels to dry their face after they wash their face has solved like so many issues for their skin, to which I call bullshit, but that's just me. The thing is, I don't dry my face off because actually letting some of the water soak into your skin and not drying your face off will help your skincare absorb, which is just kind of like a hack. Instead of buying single-use things to dry off your face, maybe just don't dry off your face. I'm not a dermatologist, I'm just saying, that's my experience. And all the tiny single-use skincare bottles that are sold, not even just travel size, we're talking like little tiny bottles for like a couple days use. And I think one of the most expensive and silly things that I'm seeing now is people who will buy capsule skincare. Like it's literally a serum, but they're putting it in single-use capsules. Why can't that serum be put into a bottle like everything else? I feel like it's just a gimmick to make you feel more luxurious, and then we're just creating little tiny capsules of waste all the time. And something I definitely fell for in like my mid-20s is something I call just routine inflation. As you see more and more content on the internet telling you how you can change this up and you can add this to your routine, basically just adding things, and then that's how you get those 12-step skincare routines that genuinely could be dwindled down to like 3 things and have the exact same impact. I just think that like the amount of things that we are told are problems and that we need to solve, and then we are sold the solution for them, ends up with the routine inflation, where you end up having multiple cleansers, and then there's a toner, which by the way, toners are kind of pointless these days, and then there's a facial spray, and then there's 4 serums, and then there's creams and gels and moisturizers. And the latest thing that I think is really frustrating is adding these LED masks, and then there's face masks, and then there's, oh my god, it's just endless. It's an endless thing in the routines. And then I also, again, in my mid-20s, fell for adding things to your routine, like going and getting like eyelashes and your eyebrows done, and the amount of things that were sold that could be done to us, like fillers and Botox, is so expensive. But that's what I mean, like it just, the more you're exposed to it, the more you realize, oh, I could add that to my routine. Should I add that to my routine? I do actually. That thing that I never thought was wrong with me before, I actually do have that problem. So I guess I'll buy this thing and add it to my routine, and it's this endless freaking hamster wheel of being told that you have a problem that you had never thought about before. You just add some more things. And soon, one day, you'll be all better. Everything will be better. Your face will be just like that person you saw on the internet, regardless of genetics and lifestyle and access to money and healthcare. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think that's what I'm getting at, is that all this content that is out there on social media that we are all exposed to, and then the norms that like seep throughout society, is really to look at them with a questioning eye. To never just look at something where someone is trying to convince you or sell you something and let it feel natural and normal. To always look at something like that with consciousness, with intentionality, because at the end of the day, if someone is saying something changed their life, likelihood is, no it didn't. And likelihood is, whatever it changed about their life was so unimportant. Of course there are exceptions to like things that I'm saying, saying here. And of course, we all exist in a society where like the expectations placed on everyone, but especially women, is harsh. And it feels like if we don't meet at least a certain set of standards, we can't exist in the world in a way that feels like safe and where we can feel confident. I always have to acknowledge that, because even though I have tried to decouple my feelings around shaving and conditioner and being plus size, like even that is something I am always working towards accepting and like decoupling my worth from all of those things. At the same time, I still wear makeup, and I do that because I feel like in society, people are much more comfortable with interacting with me in that way. And like, I acknowledge that that is a problematic part of our system, but that still exists. So there are limitations to everything. I just want this video and my channel overall to be a source of telling you to think about those things, to not fall into these traps of spending so much money on things that honestly at the end of the day aren't going to change us much. And at the end of the day, what we need to work on and spend more time and energy and money, because that's what we're spending on these products at the end of the day, spend more of that stuff on really doing the inner work to make ourselves feel better, so that we stop giving money to people who sold us our own insecurities. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. If you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. And I'll see you in my next video. So remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.